Hello, I am coming to you with a story way back from the year 1991. I was just a boy, no older than 8 years old, and attending third grade at an elementary school not far from my house. I remember that during that time they had debuted a new program on television that would come out on Sundays. The program centered around alien activity, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, and also various other reports of sightings, crop circles, and various other abductions and things that had not normally been bubbled to the surface for me as an 8-year-old boy. I remember that the crop circles themselves interested me, and they had said the crop circles were patterns left behind by extraterrestrial craft that had landed in the field and done who knows what. I remember that there was also featured was mutilation of cows, experimentation on cows. They will be abducted, and the people that said that they were being abducted would say that they would be in their bed and they'd see bright lights, and all of a sudden they'd be aboard a craft, and that was all that they could remember. Or some people said that they were testing on human beings with needles and various other implements that aren't very pleasant. It probably wasn't so great for me to be watching this show. It did come on late at night to try to prevent, young 8-year-old kids from watching it. But I do remember that one night I was watching it, and my mom and my the other roommate had already fallen asleep on the couches, and I was finishing up the show. And then I can't remember what they were talking about on the show. It was quite a while ago, but it was Sightings. That was the name of the show, and but they were talking about how they had this satellite array and they were focusing it into space to see if they could pick up any extraterrestrial intelligence, communications, or other signals. And that was about the end of it. So I went to bed. The other room, I had my own room, and I knocked out. And when I woke up in the morning, it was crazy because I got up, everything was fine. I got dressed. I went out, had some breakfast with my mom. My mom was fine. Roommate was cool. Next thing you know, I went to my shoes, and my shoes were really, really muddy and fucked up. They had grass in them. I mean, shit. It looked like I was maybe playing soccer or something, but those things weren't there before. And it's not like my mom wore, my shoes out, or the roommate wore my shoes out. I couldn't figure it out. And then to make things worse, when I looked outside, there was puddles everywhere. It had rained overnight. I just couldn't get to the bottom of this. And the scary part about it is that I just had to get to school. School started at 8 o'clock back then. It was a long walk, so I just dismissed it and I let it go. But recently, some memories came back. Like I said, I was 8, and I didn't pay no mind. But now I have this memory, and basically the memory is of me being in my bed, 8-year-old boy, and there's a whispering telling me instructions, and it's almost like I can't resist. More like they're programming me rather than suggesting. And what I remember is that it was 2, 3 in the morning, something like that. My family was asleep, and I got dressed and went down, exited the apartment complex onto the streets, and then I'm walking. Just no one's around. It's very scary. It's very eerie. And it's not like I'm in control of my own body. And as I'm walking, I realize where we're going. It's a place that I know. It's Pyle School in Stanton. That's where it was. And when I went there as a kid, that's where I was going. It was a new school to me, but I had no idea why these automatic legs were carrying me there at 3, 4 in the morning when there's no one else up in the world until the next memory. And these memories have come to me. I'm now 35. They've come to me now, and it's very disturbing because the last memory that I have is of me climbing the fence to get into the school, and then I went out deep into the outfield of a baseball diamond. clear all around me, just grass, short grass, trimmed. And next thing you know, uh, the craft appeared. It was like I looked up at the sky and there was nothing. And then just like how the predator appears, the cloak came off, and there was a huge craft just hovering there, right in front of me. And that's where I saw the beam, intense beam of light. And I went up, and that's all I remember. But when I think about it, those muddy shoes are because I mucked through the field and all the way over to Pyle School, and basically, however I got back, I didn't wipe my feet. I don't know. That's a joke in an otherwise dark memory, but these memories came back to me recently just because my life has been turbulent, and I don't always have time to look back at the past memories and think of them. But I drove past the apartment complex, and that's what triggered this uh, lightning chain of events that helped me remember what happened. But what I'm thinking, and I'm going to end on this, okay, is that I watch that show Sightings every Sunday. I watch all of them. And, they talked about people like this. They would say that they got abducted and later it seemed like a dream, like a dream state. And, I'm saying I felt like what I had was a dream, except for how did I get the mud on my shoes? But if I watched all those shows, couldn't I be feeding off what I'd already seen and made up my own shit? Which is something they actually covered in the show. Was people who just live nowhere, they don't have busy lives, so they make up shit. There's dudes that got caught making their own crop circles with like machines and crap from around the farm, and they were just trying to get a couple of bucks for people to be tourists. So like I don't know if these dreams are real or not, but all this stuff that I remember, you know, it pings for me. Anyways, that's my story. Abducted by aliens, or was it a dream? Out.